All right, we will now call the joint CRA board meeting to order for Monday, October 27th. We keep it down out there. Please rise to the invocation and pledge of allegiance. The invocation was given by Mr. Downey because he was talking.
Dear Lord, please guide us through this meeting. Allow us to make good decisions and be fair with one another. Have our moral compass with us as we move forward. And we are blessed by all that we have in this city and look forward to wonderful things to come. In your name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May you be seated. This is a beautiful prayer, by the way, Mr. Downey.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, if we could please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Here.
Councilmember Mercier.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Here.
Mayor Anderson.
Here.
Member Lanifair.
Here.
Member Jarrett.
Here.
Member Sivanine. Here. Member Shepherd.
Here.
Member Downing.
Here.
Member Vice Chair Snell. And Chair Hayes.
Okay. All right. Under consent agenda, this will be for items 1 through 9. Does any board member wish to remove any of these items? Seeing none. We looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda B1 through B9.
We have a motion. We have a second. Last call for questions. Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Yes.
Councilmember Mercier.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes. Thank you. Under action agenda, we have the 2025-26 CRA Grant Cycle Handbook and Application. You can go, Jessica, is there any presentation with this, or are we just going to open it up for questions or what?
Sure, I'm more than happy to comment. And I do have these microphones on because they're a little harder to turn on, but last time we all got together, it was difficult to hear certain people that didn't have your microphone on. So I would just ask if you do speak, to speak into the microphone so we're taking minutes. It's much easier to capture that information. On your pads there, it is on page, I know it's a very large packet, it's on page 276. You can use a tab there on the left-hand screen to scroll down all the way to 276. It doesn't look like on these devices you can automatically jump to tables of contents. So last time we were together on September 11th, we had a joint CRA advisory CRA board workshop. In addition to the legal guidance we got from CRA Council, the updates in this package are designed to improve the program clarity, strengthen defensibility under the Florida statute, and ensure alignment with the city's redevelopment plan and public purpose. The key updates, as we all discussed together on that September 11th meeting, was adding clearer definitions that restructured certain sections for readability and compliance. We refined the interior grant component to address verified life safety code and health wellness deficiencies only. We added soft cost, the plans permitting, impact and zoning fees, or ineligible expenses. We established a $25,000 cap on the facade grants. We enhanced the contractor requirements that they must provide license, insurance, and detailed itemized quotes. All of that has to be comprehensive in the completed package or it would be considered ineligible. We added requirement for business tax receipt and proof of active business hours. Clarified legacy credit, that it only applies to occupied operating properties. We set a maximum of $170,000 per property for the lifetime of the parcel, verified by property tax, not by mailing address. Confirmed the CRA board as final approving authority following joint advisory recommendations. Added new conditions for grants exceeding $25,000, including financial capacity, documentation, the lien clawback provision, and 5-year maintenance. And the applicants must certify all owned properties are current on taxes and free of active code violations. We updated facade language to allow for modifications of outdated architectural features consistent with surrounding post-1960 character. All of this has been vetted by our CRA attorney, Cliff Shepard, in his office. We had assistance by one of his associates, Andrew Hand. They have approved, they redlined the grant handbook. That is the revisions that you see within this document today. The resolution is within this document, scoring rubric with a justified definitions, checklist, and council approval, emails, and the online application.
Very good. Any questions or comments on this?
Jessica, what was the time frame that you said for the amount of time to apply was how long?
If this is approved at tonight's meeting, we will go live as soon as this meeting's over. The application.
No, I meant if they applied this year, how long before they can apply again?
Okay.
You said it earlier. I just missed it. Per parcel, not by.
The 170 max per property.
Yes.
So the way that we had discussed it last time, they would be able to apply until they reach those maximums.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about actual timelines.
They would just have to complete each project before they apply for another one, correct?
Correct.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, can we, I guess the resolution won't be read until next meeting or what? Okay, so the resolution number just has XX at the end of it. So.
Oh, and we need to assign it a resolution number.
I'm sorry, what's
Page-
that?
Page 288 is the actual resolution.
There was just one little small grammatical thing on there, because you have on the updates, everything has a 5-year maintenance, but I think one of the programs accidentally got left to 3 years under the interior improvement grant, unless that was intentional. As far as improvements must be maintained in good condition for at least 3 years, is that supposed to be 5 like the other programs, or?
Which page is that?
Page 9 of your actual handbook, page 286 of the packet, the very last line.
3 years, right?
To be consistent, yes, I believe that's supposed to be 5 years.
I would suspect that the resolution number would be 01. I don't remember us passing any other resolutions for the CRA this year, do you?
I don't recall.
Jessica, do you recall us passing any other resolutions this year for the CRA?
We haven't since I've been here.
Right.
Yeah, so it's probably 01 then is the number I would.
Yeah, it's a good phone number. So 01 being the first.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
From what I could tell, they use the same numbers as the regular resolutions, so it wouldn't use it. I haven't seen where they use different resolutions.
So right now in our packet, it just has 2025-XX. So what is your suggestion for the number?
I think they should be separate from the city's resolutions, because this is a totally, yeah, there's actually, supposed to be like a wall between the two. So, yeah, I would say that we should use resolution numbers that are independent. So if we haven't done any this year, it'd be 01.
It'll be resolution number 2025-01. I'm gonna go ahead
I
and
believe
read
the
it.
last update to that resolution was December of last year.
So resolution of Avon Park Community Redevelopment Agency Board, provide for modifications to the board's policy for CRA grants by adopting the Avon Park CRA Grant Handbook for the 2025-2026 cycle, scoring rubric, checklist, and online application, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve C1.
Resolution
number
2025.
2025-01.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember Mathier?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes. All right, item number 2, this will be the pickleball RFP number 25-10.
All right, on September 16th, the City of Avon Park issued RFP 2510 for the design, build, construction of the pickleball courts at Donaldson Park. A mandatory pre-bid meeting was held on October 2nd with 3 contractors in attendance. Staff discussed the $500,000 project budget, site specifications, and potential for phased construction to accommodate future improvements such as lighting or covered structures. Proposals were due October 17th. 2 bids were received. JCR Construction and Services, LLC, at $547, $342.16, and Nitty Sports Construction, $392,100. He is in the audience if you have any questions. JCR proposal exceeded the stated projected project budget, and therefore was deemed unresponsive. Nitty Sports Construction proposal falls within budget and includes the design and construction of 8 tournament-ready pickleball courts with a shade structure, not as presented in the renderings, but it is a shade structure, fencing, windscreens, and accessories. The proposal does not include the metal roof and lighting, but provides a functional and scalable plan consistent within those project goals under the project budget, so we could use that extra to potentially do a phase 2. Nitty Sports Construction has successfully completed similar municipal court projects and is recommended as the most qualified and cost-responsive bidder. They did recently the courts in Sebring. So he's here if you'd like to ask him any questions.
Nitty Sports did the ones in Sebring, you said?
Yes.
Why don't we
Yes.
go ahead and have them come up? If you don't mind. I got it.
I think he wanted this Nibby Sports to come up to the microphone so we can ask questions.
Good evening. Welcome.
Your name and address.
Jonathan Papp, 747 Lake Clark Court.
Do you have a question for him first?
So you're responsible, your company is responsible for the courts that were in Sebring, right?
Yes.
And are those the ones that are on the Parkway? Or where downtown are they?
We did a few in Sebring. I think most recently maybe Charlie Brown Park
Okay,
in Sebring.
okay. And so, Jessica, you said that this price on here, this 392, hang on.
Yeah, 392.1.
392,100 did not cover what did it not cover?
And those that need to scroll, it's on page 312. The big metal structure that we had over the rendering projection, that does not include that. If you've ever been to a pickleball court, it does include, and I'm not a pickleballer, but a shade structure that you can sit under as you're waiting to play. So I'll let him explain the shade structure.
So then there won't be a shade structure over the top of it,
Over the courts.
Correct. And that's not referred to as a shade structure. That would be more of like an open air canopy that would encompass all the courts. That would far exceed the established budget for the project, but our proposal does include a tension fabric shade structure for players, getting ready to play or in between play.
So is it just one, or are they along? Because there's a gap between each pickleball court. So does the shade structure go that entire length, or is there just one sitting area?
There's a page that has the outline if anybody has it in front of them.
This would be for just one. It was a larger shade structure. I believe the dimensions were 14 by 24. Our proposal was
I'm trying to find
consistent
it
with
now.
Dana Adams' sketch that was provided as a pre-bid, which depicted that 14 by 24 foot shade structure in the alleyway of the courts.
It's on page 316, if that helps anybody.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you.
But to your point, you could have two smaller shade structures if you like. Right, you could break that up, you could do one larger, centrally located, or you could have two smaller shade structures.
Yeah, but just to be clear, this is not a shade structure over all of the courts. So it was supposed to be a dual purpose, not just for pickleball, but also we could have, events underneath the big overhang there.
Oh, thank you so much.
So this is, indeed an entirely different project than what it originally started out as here.
That is correct, because the budget to provide that pre-engineered structure with the lights, with the courts, I think as was demonstrated in the initial bid prior to this, far exceeded the budget.
And so your proposal does not have lights either? Is that correct?
Correct. Though our proposal came in under the specified value, and then our proposal spoke to the various options that the city could pursue, lights either with us or, at an additional.
Did you provide
Phase.
pricing for the lights?
No, I did not.
Has your company done any construction as far as these metal structures over pickleball courts, or do you guys just usually specialize in just the actual sports equipment?
So we would, our company would specialize in everything under the pre-engineered metal structure, though we've done several projects throughout the state of Florida that are similar to what you guys are desiring, where there's a large metal structure. That would be subbed out, though, not
So-
done by our company.
So in your opinion, I think the other contractor kind of referenced this in there, as far as if we had to add this later, what's the likelihood that we're going to mess up those pickleball courts with heavy machinery or trying to make these upgrades and things like that? Or is this something that we should put out an additional RFP for a metal structure and see if we can do them at the same time?
I mean, in addition to metal, there's other types of like shade structures that the city may require, that they may be interested in, like larger tension fabric shade structures. But yeah, I can't speak to the means and methods of that. Ideally, if it could get done all at once, that would be ideal, right? But I don't think the budget allows for that at this time.
So the actual court, the actual courts themselves, walk us through exactly what they're made out of. How thick of concrete or whatever it is would you be applying there?
Sure. So we proposed an asphalt court. So asphalt courts are predominantly used in the state of Florida.
Okay.
We recommend a minimum of 4 inches or a maximum of 6 inches of base material, and then 1.5 inches of asphalt.
Okay.
The asphalt will then be covered by an acrylic coating. They'll be applied, and then lines will be applied to the finished color.
Okay, as far as the sides, the space between the playing sides, is that going to be sufficient for competition play for like nationally ranked competition?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, our sketch, our dimensions were taken directly from Dana Adams' sketch. And I don't recall what they were offhand. I think they're like 141 by 143, but that provided ample space back of court as well as side court.
Sir, I don't have the plans because I didn't get some reason, but is there like a fence or some kind of a barrier between the courts so that the balls don't go back and forth between the courts by mishits, or are they just right next to each other?
I believe we did have interior divider fence.
Okay.
So we have a taller 8-foot perimeter fence, and then there was a lower interior divider fence.
Okay.
I think it says 4 feet
So
between.
is there a water fountain that's provided of any type?
It says a chilled water fountain in the center underneath the canopy.
All right, thanks.
I don't know if that's our proposal.
A Okay, this is on the drawing by Dana Adams.
Oh, okay. So we took like the dimensions, the number of courts, the spacing, the shade structure, the key elements. But if you reference our proposal, those are the elements that we included.
So it doesn't have the water fountain.
No, it does not.
That's certainly something you want to consider. That's something you can consider when you do the cover also, is that your cover's going to have to be pretty high because lobbing is a part of the game, and you can't lob if it's too low.
So what about the lifespan of these courts if it's not covered? Do you know the difference between how long they would last versus having a cover or not?
Yes. So the overwhelming majority of courts in the state of Florida, whether it's tennis or pickleball, are not covered. To have covered courts would be the exception rather than the standard. So an uncovered court in the state of Florida, the asphalt will last like 15 to 20 years before it needs to be overlaid or reconstructed. The acrylic coating will last 3 to 5 years. So that's the color and the lines that are applied to the asphalt. So if it is covered, perhaps you're getting a little more time because it's not receiving direct UV, right? But the overwhelming majority of courts are not covered. So you're not, it's...
When you say a little bit more time, are we talking years?
I'm sorry?
When you say with the covered courts, is that years? When you say a little, it'll give you a little more time. Are we talking years?
I can't speak exactly to that. I don't have that information.
Do you want to share the conversation we had on the difficulties when they try to make pickleball multi-use courts versus just a specified use? I know we talked about that just a little bit, and the wear and tear on the courts and how that really impacts the usage and having to repair it more often.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Would help
yeah.
be helpful.
So, in short, it would be suggested that the city kind of come to an agreement regarding, hey, are we putting in pickleball courts or a multi-use area? As mentioned, the pickleball courts and sport courts in the state of Florida are predominantly constructed out of asphalt for the playability of asphalt and for the lack of control joints that is needed as opposed to that of concrete. If the city is looking for a multi-purpose area where, concerts can be held, various equipment can be brought in, and other festivals and so on and so forth, trying to construct pickleball courts in asphalt would not be, it would not be in your best interest.
Would it be inappropriate to make pickleball courts out of concrete?
They're not preferred. They're not preferred by the players because of the control joints, similar to like a sidewalk, right? So sidewalk, you have a control joint maybe every 8 feet, every 10 feet. That same theory has to apply now on a sports court where you're shuffling, moving your feet, and where balls are bouncing.
Okay.
Over time, those cracks are going to be, become uneven. So to have a concrete playing surface is not ideal.
It also creates cracks in the court.
Yeah, which are expensive to repair.
So, sir, let me make sure I'm understanding. You're saying that asphalt is more preferable? What is the most preferable by players?
Asphalt.
Okay. And which one gets the hottest, the asphalt or the concrete without the overlay?
I can't speak to that. I'm not sure. Both of them will have a covering. Both of them will have a coating over them,
Epoxy.
right? So that the same color coating. But I can't speak to which one gets hotter.
Right.
I'd like to make one comment, if I may. I did go to the pre-proposal meeting but the three gentlemen that were there, the other two were there, had never built a court, so that did not look good from my point of view, as well as the fact is that all three people said that the overall picture of the cover and everything else was way beyond the dollar amount, and nobody could even come close to doing anything other than the courts themselves. Jonathan here with Liddy is the only one that basically, that's what they do for a living. They build pickleball courts and tennis courts, I believe, too, but mainly pickleball courts. So basically, they were the only experts that were there. They were telling the other two representatives exactly what would have to be done. And one guy was just a representative from a company. He wasn't even going to be the person on the job. So he was quite informative. He shared all the information with Jessica and talked about, things that we could do and can't do for the amount of money. And so I think Jessica will point out, like she did, that basically the $500,000 limit just allows us to do the courts at this time. And then we'd have to do the rest in different series at different times, or whether we can get less money for the splash pads. Maybe we could switch some of that money over to do a roof or something else. But my recommendation is that this is the only company that was qualified to do the tournament quality courts, and the only one that made a bid that was proper. So I basically, they have my support for sure.
So, Jessica, do you know if EO Cook, why they didn't submit again?
I have no idea.
Were they not at the pre-bid meeting?
They did have a representative there, but they didn't submit an RFP.
Okay. Because that amount covered both. Wasn't it like 500 and something thousand?
They had 3 addendums in the package, which was not included with the submittal. That's what we found out after the fact. So they didn't have everything in their completed package that we had the first time.
Oh, okay. My only thing is I mean, it's disappointing that we couldn't have a structure. I understand cost and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely would want to still pursue that, because I feel like everybody was excited about having an area down at Donaldson Park for performances and, get-togethers and the Blueberry Festival and things like that. If we did have to go with this, I think at a bare minimum, we would probably need more shade structure. Just maybe even have one at each, because it looks like there's 4 entrances to the gates on Dana Adams' drawing, so at least have a shade structure at each gate section so that people could come out and rest rather than everybody having to congregate in the center. I think a lot of the individuals that want to play pickleball, I think they do it for social reasons as well, so I think having a nice place, plus it's hot. It's really hot. So, do you have any idea what the cost would be if we added an additional 24 by 14, if we slid that one down to the gate area and then put an additional one at the other side?
I'd have to get back with you on that. But just for that reason, that's why we opted. We do a lot of this throughout the entire state, right? So we get it. It's driven on dollars and cents. So that's why we came in well under the 500,000. So if you want to add another one, or if you want to add the chilled water, or if you want to add additional items, our thought was, hey, let's provide a baseline proposal that covers the tournament ready courts, that covers, getting the community pickleball. And then if there's things that need to be added, we can work towards a successful outcome.
I know the other company had even suggested using some of the existing lights and light poles that we have out there, just making them a shorter length or something like that. So do you know if it's possible that we could utilize any of the stuff we already have out there?
I don't know. I can't speak to modifying a light pole, not the height of it. That doesn't.
Okay. That was just something they had mentioned. I'm not sure either. So.
Okay.
If they're not right there, then they're going to create shadows, which are even worse than having low light.
So you're the avid pickleballer. So as far as necessities with this, I mean, is lighting one of those things that's a necessity? I think water is definitely a necessity, and I think
Well-
shade is a necessity in Florida.
So we have 20 pickleball courts, and none of them are lit, and none of them have cover. Most people play between 8 and 10 you know, they have competitions in the middle of the day, and you just suffer. But there is water. I think it's absolute. You got to have water because not everybody remembers to bring their water, and then you can have somebody pass out there without, you know, especially during the summer. So I would really highly recommend you have water of some type there, ice if possible. You know, that's what we have. We have an ice machine and two places with water. And so it really is even more important than lighting. The thing about lighting is you just can't play after that. But, you know, if that's near enough to homes, they're not going to want you playing after, you know, dark anyway because it's noisy.
Well, I think there was a time that we discussed for these courts to be closed. So if they were going to close them right before dusk, then I don't see what the
Yeah,
need for a lighting is. And the water fountain, how much is a water fountain, a chilled water fountain?
Well, I would recommend that you wire for lights because once you put down the courts, you know, it'll be difficult to do it later. And then that leaves you the option in the future to do that, but not do it now. I would say put the water in now, you know, however you want to do that. Covers, you got to have somewhere that's covered. Doesn't have to be on the courts. We have the advantage of having some tall trees on one side, which cast, you know, shade on 3 of the courts in the morning. But as the sun rises, of course, you get less and less of that. But you know, that's something. If you want people to be able to play after work during the year when it gets dark at 8 o'clock, that would be an advantage to have, you know, lights for those people that do work, you know, regular hours.
So
But-
does your proposal include the shrubs that are on this drawing?
They do not.
Because I think that was something that you had mentioned as far
Yeah.
as the sound and things like that too, is giving us
It
a
does
buffer.
mask the sound, and it provides at least one court with shade, depending on how high you are. If you have something like Australian pines, which I think nobody puts in anymore, but then you know, they go like 60, 80 feet, then that really does provide a lot of shelter until the sun gets over. Then nobody plays anyway, or very few people play.
I don't think our courts are covered now anyway, the tennis courts. We don't have a cover over them now. And I see people out there all the time playing.
Yeah, we play. Sometimes we play middle of the day. Like I said, competitions are played in the middle of the day because the prime time is early morning. We start at 8. I'd prefer to start at 7, but they don't allow you to start at 7 because houses in the nearby have complained about, you know, being woke up by pickleball.
The majority of courts in the state of Florida that are covered, it's typically a private club. Municipalities are far and few between because of the sheer cost of it. It's expensive.
Yeah, and the indoor courts, you know, I know one that was very popular around the state, and it's out of business now. It went bankrupt. It's just too expensive to have it indoor type situation and also have pickleball without charging huge amounts. And they were very expensive.
Okay, any thoughts from the advisory board? I know Mr. Jarrett's got something. He's over there cooking it up right now.
No, it was a long journey that took us to a roof over top of the pickleball courts or over the recreation area in order to try to multitask a piece of property we'll never get back until we reconfigure it. And the lights were a part of the journey to actually showcase something that might be underneath different size pickleball. You building the one or being a part of the one in Sebring, the bulk of the use in Sebring is done after hours for the working person who wants to come and play the sport until 9 o'clock at night. So it's imperative they have lights down there. It's a dynamic of what the city wants.
But it's difficult to light it. You got to light it just right. Otherwise, like I said, the shadows become more of a problem than
I'm sure
low light.
For what I gather, the people playing the courts down in Sebring, I don't want to, they're learning the sport as they go. And they're enjoying the exercise, and somebody said it early, it's a place for socialization.
Yeah, absolutely is. It's
And just to get citizens together in an exercise format was the win they were looking for.
Well, a lot of places have like a series of benches on the sides that are covered, like you said, where people that have played and are waiting to play again can, get out of the sun, at least for a while, and sit and, stop sweating.
So the original discussion took place to take the 2 tennis courts and try to convert them into 3 or 4 pickleball courts for usage. And we've gotten to this point, and where our budget was stretched beyond a mechanism we could handle.
It's the fastest growing sport
Yeah.
in the country.
And we were strictly looking for that as it constantly came before us. What would gather people downtown? What 100 ideas, and this was just one, that they thought because of your words that you just used. It's a growing sport, and
I mean, we
possibly be a part of it.
Yeah, they went from four in my neighborhood, 4, then to 16. Now they have 20, and I'm sure they're going to be looking for more in the future. But it's funny because during the middle of the day, very few of them are used. But during the morning, you can't hardly find a court. So, yeah, it's very popular.
My only final comment is to Mrs. McGuire's comment that there was a need possibly to utilize in Donaldson Park a place where people could gather for concerts or events or festivals, and we were trying to incorporate both. We only have a certain amount of footprint in Donaldson Park, so now comes the decision of how much footprint do we use for what activity.
Did you rule out the band shell, floating band shell?
We've only got to this point.
Oh,
As far as the advisory. We've seen a lot of things in front of us, but we're just trying to get to a point where we could agree to go forward. And going forward just meant getting a quote.
Well, as you probably know, I'm very much in favor of the pickleball courts.
I'd like to piggyback off what Mr. Jarrett said. I remember the conversation that we was trying to make Avon Park the place where everybody comes. Big tournaments happening here. And it seemed like to me now we just settling with what everybody else have. And so my other question is, can you convert tennis courts into pickleball courts to help save us any money? And the suggestion is, I don't think we should take from the kids' splash pad. That was set aside for the kids. I don't think we should take away from that. So, my questions.
So yes, I mean, that's, in a sense, what we're doing. We're growing the footprint of the existing double pickleball courts. Of the existing double tennis courts to make 8 pickleball courts.
So you're going to resurface them in some kind of way?
No, we're referencing the proposal that we provided. We're doing a full depth reclamation of the existing material.
Okay.
So by doing that, now, for those that have seen the courts, they're not in good condition. The asphalt is at the end of its useful life. But if we mill that asphalt with the existing base material, now that can be used as new base material for the pickleball courts. So we're reducing the amount of import and export that's required for the project. This is a very popular standard of construction that we use across the state of Florida when we have existing courts and we're either rebuilding them back to tennis courts or rebuilding them into pickleball courts. So what we are providing is by far the most cost-effective means of construction because we're using the existing material that's on site. We're recycling it.
And with the existing tennis courts that we have right now, with those existing ones, how many of those that we're going to turn into pickleball courts? How many tennis courts we have? Do you know, Jessica?
2.
And so out of those 2, how many can we make out of pickleball courts?
We're putting in 8,
All.
but it's a much larger footprint than just the
So
2 courts.
we're growing the footprint from like this to this, and there'll be no tennis. It'll be all pickleball.
Okay.
So you'll have 8 courts. It'll be 4 over 4 with an alleyway in the middle. and the shade structures in the alleyway.
And just to be clear, I wasn't suggesting taking the money away from the splash pad. I know Jessica was looking to see if we might be able to get a lower price on the amount of money that we had allocated. And if we had anything left over, then we could use that. So no, I don't want to take away from the splash pad at all. But we don't have to spend it all, then we have a place to put it.
Okay, so who on the advisory board is for this project as presented and who's against? Or do we have a variation of it you suggest?
Are solar lights an option?
It's not in the proposal.
I did reference solar lights. I did not give pricing. And just real quick, there's so many variations of lighting. I did mention solar. You can lease the fixtures. You can buy the fixtures. There's low profile LED lights that attach to fencing for an even lower cost. It just depends upon what the end user's, preference is. And that was our thought coming in under the established budget, leaving room for options that may be desired after the fact.
Okay.
The ones I've seen lit have lights on both sides, so that you don't have shadows. And so that's going to be pretty expensive for you to do. But if you wire it now, that's a big issue that's done and it's stubbed out. If you want to get it done in the future, you can still do it with the wiring you got.
That would be money well spent. Yes.
Okay. So again, advisory board, any thoughts?
I've got a question. Do you have, on any of the dual purpose courts that may be around the area, is there any type of additional type of covering you can buy to put over the courts to protect them if there is another event held on top of that and then stored later? Are you aware of anything? I'm just brainstorming here.
Great question. Yeah, great question. We've seen, other venues like use plywood, various forms of plywood and foam board. Inevitably, damage occurs, right? People are setting up easy ups. People are dragging in, 3, 4, 5-tier bleachers. There's setup, there's tear down. Inevitably, damage will happen. Asphalt doesn't have the same compressive strength as concrete, right? But even with concrete, you're going to be damaging that acrylic coating that would be applied to the court. So either it's a multi-purpose space or the pickleball courts. It's very difficult, if not impossible. I have not seen it successfully done to have two shared spaces like that. If it was a basketball court or something else, but a pickleball court, this surface is so crucial to the playability of the courts, as I'm sure others could.
It is a substantial issue because just the smallest change in elevation, like a crack or something like that, with the characteristics of the pickleball, it sends it off in an odd way and messes up the game. It makes it unplayable at some point if you get too many cracks or you have even leaves, getting on the court create a problem. We always blow the leaves off with a leaf blower, but if you have chairs on there that are heavy and leave marks after a while, those marks will change the characteristics of how the ball will bounce on the court.
After hearing all that, I would think if we're going to make the investment into the pickleball courts at this level, then it would be designated pickleball only so that we don't
That would be my recommendation.
tear them up.
And I think our best laid plans, we all have plans in our lives and things don't always go the way we think they're going to go. I think the blessings are rearranged now. I think the roof has always been not a concern of mine, but in the back of my mind, like, okay, roof, it's not a air-filled ball, but it's going to travel up. So maybe the blessing is not to have the roof, and maybe the $108,000 and change that we have might be able to be used for lighting or maybe some of the bushes we were talking about. To Jerry's point, to lay down the infrastructure for the lighting would be a brilliant idea ahead of time, and I'm sure that it's in your thing somewhere. So to the mayor's question, I don't think any of us are completely thrilled, right? Because it wasn't what we all thought and dreamed we were going to have. But reality is, steel's probably 250, 260, 270 for that project, and that's probably what would have put it way over the limit, just a guess. But to have that steel structure with tariffs and everything else that's going on, how do you manage that? So I think looking at the reality of it all, I think we have a couple options that, we have these, I've seen these Tencel, the coverings, nylon, whatever you want to call them. There's options for that you mentioned already, right? If we wanted to do something for extra shade, not for the entire structure, but in that little,
I think the whole purpose, though, when we were talking about a structure, when we were in
Right.
our meetings, was because we had intended on this to be
Right.
dual purpose. If it's
Right.
not dual purpose,
yeah, I don't think
here,
it's,
there's no need for it.
yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think there's any longer a dual purpose for this. If we're going to spend this money, why would you want to put that in danger? Now, we do have options, right? We talked about a band shell. We talked about the Rotary was interested in doing a band shell. We talked about the building that Danielle Kelly had the wisdom and foresight to see on a potential building that would jet out, and we all saw the structures on that too. Pipe dream, $16 million, who knows how much that would cost? But I think the rearranging of the blessings here, right, trying to keep as positive as we can, I think we still have a little bit of room to still get what we want for the pickleball. And I think, to Jerry's point, I think having the infrastructure in there for the lights is smart. And then I think we also probably have some room somewhere for shrubs if we have to get it from somewhere else. I'm really interested to see what the cost and what the overall is going to be for the splash pad as well. Not to take away from the splash pad, to Jim's point, that's not what we want to do either. But I think it kind of got rearranged, like the blessings kind of got rearranged. I appreciate you for being upfront and honest, and I appreciate Jessica for prompting you to talk about the dangers of making that a multi-use. I think that's out of the park now. I don't think, no pun intended, but I don't think we have the chance for that, but I think we have options for that. And I think Kelvin shook his head too with the Rotary and things like that with the band shell. Could be doable with funding from areas that may not come from the CRA. So just options. That's just to answer your question, Garrett. I think there's not doom and gloom, but I think what we wanted, we can't always get what we want, but I think we can get 3/4 of what we want here. I feel, Jerry.
The absolutely cold water, absolutely, and we have outdoor refrigeration faucet. Basically, it's been out there, no problem, and we have another one which is more complex. It has the ice and the water.
Right.
And both of them are outdoors. They're designed to be outdoors, and I just recommend you have at least one of those.
Yeah, and you have the electrical lines. I got this shuffleboard right in front of it, right? I've been checking it out for 2 years now. You have the water line right there, not too far away. You have the electrical lines all right there. So I still think this is, I'm not trying to be all, pom-poms and cheering, but I think we
Yes,
still have an
come
option.
on.
And I'm sad that we don't have the original multi-use, but I think that kind of, multiple factors have caused that to go away.
Yep. All right, so for the wiring and the water fountain, obviously that had to be done at the time. So how best to get a price for that? Is that something that you can just provide to us as an add-on?
Yes.
Okay.
Garrett, can I,
Yes.
additionally, is there a place in this exercise to get a quote for additional shade, additional
Right.
sales?
Right.
Sure.
And to the point that we can say we're a go to this point?
We would just have to decide where we want them and what scale.
I would think I would go back to my pickleball expert, but it's not so much to cover the courts, but to cover where anybody might be waiting.
Right.
And I don't think the shade that they've allowed, and I think Ms. McGuire spoke of it, doesn't take into account people waiting to play on 8 courts.
Right.
So in total, we're having to multiply for everybody waiting to play on the court in the best scenario.
Right.
It would be just as many as are on the courts.
So the way they do that is normally they have paddle hangers on each court, and you hang your paddle on a court, and when your paddle is up, you play. In the meantime, you're sitting, waiting, and it can be a scorcher if there's not any shade. I totally agree. You really need to have enough shade for the type of numbers of people that you might get. I don't know what that could be, but you might want to expand it because they were really shocked at where I am at. Everybody's parking now on grass over there because they don't have enough parking.
But we're putting the shades between the courts, it appears, on the drawing that the young man did.
Yes.
Is it possible to put the shades or put the waiting area outside the perimeter of the courts, adding the shade to maybe large enough to shade some of the courts? or the sunset or the sunrise of act in the form of a tree mentality. But
or-
just the different quotes, are you able to give different quotes on how to shade the area?
Absolutely. But as far as some of that shade encompassing over the court,
Not
would
over the
not.
court, just,
Okay.
just no
Yes.
more than an oak tree would give you for a period of time, on the outside. Your shade requires, or is on the map here, between the courts.
Correct.
Again, I don't know how many people wait between courts for the play, but that's all. I didn't know if I had to go back out to quotes to get, now that we've changed the whole dynamics of it, for shade. That was my real question.
Yeah, no, I don't think the dynamic is changing enough. And again, this was a design build proposal, right? So there's a narrative provided, but there are a few missing pieces like shade and a drinking fountain and maybe some landscape. And so once the city finds out, hey, this is our priority, or this is more of what we want, this is the general consensus, we want a second, shade structure, landscaping consisting of the following, in at least one location for chilled water. We can add that, or we can, discuss that and provide additional pricing. But those are usually small items that we can add pricing to.
But Garrett, to your question, I am in favor of proceeding as one vote over here.
We would probably want some seating too, right? Some benches or something like that.
Yeah, it's benches in between's nice, if that a cover, perfect. And then, like you said, a place where more people can sit and wait, because you're
Right.
probably going to get some interest in it. I'm thinking with 4 courts.
Okay.
Are you putting in the paddle hangers and everything, or is that something we have to add?
No, we've got ball holders, trash buckets, court numbers, court squeegees, and then paddle racks.
Okay, good.
The one thing I can speak clearly to is the demographic of pickleball, right? So this project is a community-centered or a community-focused project. And so I just want to assure the city, the demographic of pickleball has changed drastically over the last 10 years, right? Where we were building initially in, active senior communities, that's not the case. We're at the University of Florida building dedicated pickleball courts right next to their tennis courts.
High schools are putting them in now.
Correct. So we do a ton of work at school districts. We haven't done any dedicated pickleball courts, but we're lining the tennis courts for pickleball so they can use like for PE and stuff. So this is not just, 40, 50, 60s. You'll see grade school, middle school, high school. I proudly play. Jerry, I'm glad you enjoy yourself as well. But I think you'll see more people out there on the pickleball court at a younger age. So I think you can feel confident that you're doing a community-focused project.
Okay. All right.
Jerry, oh, sorry, I have a question, Jerry. So if we did go ahead, because I feel like we need to lay this foundation, we need to get this started now.
Yeah.
Do this foundation,
Yeah.
add on to it along the way. If we come a little bit down the road and we find that people are hot and they're complaining, oh my gosh, I wish there was more shade, then the CRA could actually put in more shade.
Sure.
So with a quick Google search, a water fountain, $1,200.
That's not much. In fact,
We have $1,200 in the
I mean,
excess.
he could add it in, or you could do it. Your public works
CRA
could do
would
it.
be- right.
I
Or
love
the
volunteering
CRA.
public works for these things.
Shelley, I agree. We need a win. We
Right.
need a win.
We need to get it
Yeah.
started, because otherwise we're going to watch pickleball phase out. And I don't want that, because we've been talking about this for 3 years. So
Yeah.
it's finally time to, excuse me, I'm not going to say it, but it's time to move forward and crap or get off the pot.
I think you're going to find it very popular.
Yes.
All right. So how do we get the price for the wiring? Wiring in the water.
Separately.
Okay, separately. So,
So I mean, you can provide that to Jessica, and she can provide it to the board.
Sure.
Yeah, and just do them separately in case we want to do the water ourselves, and the wiring you'll need to do it, as part of the laying the courts out and everything. But make sure we have adequate wiring that we can do proper lighting, if that's what they do in the future.
Sure. Yes.
If we can also, I know they talked about expanding, I can't remember your name, sir, I'm sorry.
Jonathan.
Jonathan, I'm Chris. If there's any way we can expand, to Bill's point, Mr. Jarrett's point, to expand the shade structure, maybe give options for the shade structure.
Sure.
So that we could probably kick it around
Sure.
and come up with an idea too, because I like the idea of the outside shading and that center area. So if you
Yep.
can include that too. And I think we're moving forward on some things, so.
Or
Yeah,
as,
it's not a problem.
Councilmember McCure said, you can do it in phases too,
Right.
because that's
I
not something you
agree.
need tomorrow. But it's gonna grow, and then you can always phase it in later.
Okay. All right, so are you clear on the add-ons that we're looking for?
Yes, I'll follow up with Jessica if I got any questions, but yeah, some
Okay.
conduit, some water supply lines, and then some options on the shade.
Okay, very good. All right, any other input on this proposal? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve C2 for RFP, oh no, I'm sorry, for C2, for Nindy Sports Construction for $392,100.
Second.
With the add-ons, right?
We don't have prices for them
Okay,
yet, so
okay.
that's fine. And we got a second?
Yes, sir.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Last call for questions.
Mr. Jonathan, I just have one more question. Did you include fans in there, or is that something that we should maybe look at? Because I see that Mr. Dana had fans in there, I think.
Yes, we did not include
You did not, okay, that's fine.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Last call for questions. Seeing none, please call a roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember Marquardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor? Yes. Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
I did want to ask also, and I forgot, the wind shades. Yeah, you're putting those in as well?
The wind screener,
Yeah.
go around the perimeter.
Yeah, how you fastening those?
Can you come up to the microphone and say it for the record, please?
Because I know some people fasten it with wire ties so that the wind doesn't pull down the fence, like in a really strong wind, and then other people do it, differently.
So we'll use zip ties,
Zip ties.
and the zip ties will be a heavier tie at the bottom and then a lighter tie at the top. I think it's a 50-pound tie at the top. They're designed so that it does break,
Breaks. That has
right?
to
But then
break.
it still stays secured at the bottom.
Yeah, otherwise it will bend the fence, yeah.
Correct.
All right, thanks, appreciate it.
One
You
more
bet.
thing, one more thing. From start to finish, what do you think the completion time is?
Completion time 120 days.
Perfect, okay. Jerry, you might be playing pickleball in 120 days.
All right, last call for questions for Jonathan here. We're
Thank you,
good.
Jonathan, great job.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you all for your time. Appreciate it. Thank
right.
you.
All right, please, did we call the roll already? Yeah, we did. Okay. All right, moving on to item number 3, the splash pad.
All right, RFP 2509 Splash Pad Design Build Review. On September 12th, the City of Avon Park issued RFP 2509 seeking qualified design build services for the installation of a splash pad at Donaldson Park. A mandatory pre-bid meeting was held on September 30th with 2 contractors in attendance. Staff emphasized the importance of staying within the $250,000 budget and encouraged proposers to consider phased approaches to achieve community design goals and functional usability. Proposals were due October 15th, and one bid was received from JCR Construction Services in the amount of $276 plus contingency. The bid was did not include shade structures or lighting and exceeded the maximum allowable project stated in the RFP, which required all responsive proposals to adhere to the $250,000 limit. Because the bid exceeded the stated budget, it is considered non-responsive under procurement policy. Staff recommends rejecting the bid and exploring alternative procurement options, including potential piggyback contracts and strategic reallocation of funds from the pickleball project to enhance the splash pad installation. They are in the audience if you have questions.
Okay. Was there suggestions as to how to alter the project?
There was no phased approaches included in the RFP.
Okay. Okay, do we have any questions for the proposer or for the bidder? Okay, so do we want to take a portion of the funds that was unused from the pickleball courts and apply them to the splash pad project then, or what?
I guess my question is, because Jessica, we didn't specify the exact size in the RFP, did we? For the splash pad?
I don't believe exact size was in there, no.
So I'm kind of wondering, like, on a, a square foot basis, I think theirs was for 2,000 square feet. So if we, scaled it down just a tad or something like that, how much of that is going to knock off the price?
We could get you to come up to the microphone there. Just give your name and company.
My name is Harold Payam. I'm with JCR Construction.
Everton Jackson, and I'm also with JCR Construction and Services.
Very good. So the question was, if the square footage is reduced by 25%, 30%, would that reduce the cost by roughly the same percentage, or what can we do to make sure that we get the project within our budget?
Well, you are correct. Just a size reduction is going to impact costs because essentially the two most important pieces of any splash pad is basically going to be your concrete and your equipment. And so any reduction in the size is going to also reduce the price. There's also one other point that I want to make here. It wasn't clear, and we tried to get a clearer response through when we submitted a question.
Mm-hmm.
What we've submitted here is a splash pad with features that stick up. There. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll probably help to explain that too.
Okay, make sure the rest of the council gets it.
Okay. Just to clarify or elucidate, under the project scope of work statement, there was a statement here that said, features shall promote areas of multiple children playing together while using the splash pad, but also have the ability to serve as a dry civic area when the splash pad is not operating. So that was one part of the question that wasn't really clarified. And then components shall be all flush mounted spray fixtures and can be interchanged with above ground features to allow for future design variability or variety. That was, we tried to solicit clarification in the form of an addendum. That was never responded to. So they basically just basically sent us back the question we asked, which was this. If we were to, say, get rid of the features that are above ground and just go with those that are just basically jets, that are surface mounted jet, yes, that would bring down the cost also. So the three main components are going to be the equipment, the concrete, and the type of features that you decide to use. So if we work on those, we have no doubt we can get down to your budget. But as it stands right now, the budget is for stuff that sticks up above the surface.
Okay.
Does the budget include all of these, like, exercise equipment stuff that?
Well,
would be
that is what your budget is for.
So
Well, it's okay.
is it both of these things then?
Yeah, that would be your budget. That would pretty much be, I'd have to check each and every piece and make sure that it matches up to what we have in our proposal. But yeah, most of those that are shown there would be included.
So when it's winter time, you take these off and you put these on there?
No. You'd get one set. One set, I mean, they're just, you'd have to pick one. Essentially, you'd have to pick one.
Which one is 276?
The one with water shooting out.
Oh, we don't have that one over here. Which one? This one?
This one to me doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't, it's not even a splash pad.
Both of these are.
So is the exercise equipment getting put on this plain one then? Or you're saying this is 250, or that is 250, or that is 276?
These two would be together.
This has not been priced.
Yep. So if we could get you to make your comments right in that microphone over there.
This particular one has not been priced. So everybody is
Yeah.
aware.
Sir, please
This has not
just
been
speak
priced.
in the microphone.
Yes.
You can.
So we're all aware this particular one has not been priced. The one we priced are the ones with the features that are shown above the surface. That is 276. That is based on a 200 square foot wet deck, and then you have a 5-foot perimeter dry deck around it. And-
But this one has been priced. He said so.
That is the one with the monkey bars.
Yes, yes,
These
yeah,
are
the
ones
ones with the monkey bars. I can call out what exactly is in it. You've got monkey bars, you've got a monkey bar, one pull-up station, one L bar, one ring bar, 2 functional benches. We've thrown in the benches so people, parents can sit while their
Sir,
kids are
Excuse me.
there.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but when you're talking about this one with the monkey bars and the rings, is this with water?
Yes, those are
So
those
you
are water
want to put
features.
you want to put water shooting up while they're trying to exercise? Is that what,
No,
how
no,
that
no,
is?
no. These are water features that kids can play on. So while the water is on, they can be, they're different for, those are all water features. It's a,
Because maybe I'm misunderstanding it, because when I see it wet and I see a child trying to go across the wet monkey bars,
So are they?
to
I'm
me,
like
that
her.
just kind of screams
Are they
liability.
designed a certain way where they won't slip and fall? That's my concern.
in terms of slip
Or are
and
they
fall.
made out of the same material as monkey bars?
Okay. In terms of these features, if you do not like a monkey bar, you can change it out to something else. Those are the ones we proposed, but that can always be changed to something else.
But you didn't answer the question, sir. Are they the same kind of monkey bars that you see with kids play on the grass with? Are they the same kind of monkey bars, or are these specific monkey bars designed for wet surfaces?
They would be designed for the wet area. They would be designed for the wet area.
Did you guys see this, the advisory? Okay.
They would be designed for the wet area.
I don't know, personally, I like the one that sits above the ground with the kids having to go through this one.
Yeah, and that doesn't say
This is the one that if
yeah,
we
you can
decide,
pick
would
and
be
choose.
276.
Yeah, you can, well, the ones with the monkey bars and that one would be 276. The one that we have not priced, which we think would be less,
Yeah, that's-
would be this one.
Shelley,
That's the one with the surface. one.
So
Pass
and
it,
and
so
you
we
didn't
sure.
get any pricing for the shades at all. You didn't price the shades at all.
I don't think in this one they specified shades in this, in the second go around. I don't think shades were specified in the second go around. I don't think shades were not specified in the second go around. And I'm looking at it right now, I don't think there was any shades.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the monkey bars, I don't think that's made for water based on the pictures that we have on here.
I think we're way past monkey bars. Nobody wants monkey bars.
Yeah, you can,
Yep.
those you can change them out to whatever you want. We could find something comparable, but because we did not have a specific motif to
Okay.
work with, we chose some equipment that we think would work with the kids would like, and we put them out there. But there might be, or I'm quite sure that, that we could find something that's more suitable, more acceptable, that you'd be willing to work with.
Okay. So do we want to have shades or not?
I would like to comment that I did a poll on Facebook. There are a lot of people in this city that are very, very enthusiastic about the splash pad, and shade was the #1 thing that was listed.
Okay. So it seems pretty clear that we're going to need to take the remaining money that is not going to be used for the pickleball courts and put with this so that we can add shades and go with the more colorful picture that's there that has more of the things that you run through and no monkey bars. So
I have a question for, sir, I know this is just a little, illustration, what you're showing us, but is this to the width, this is the max of the water that they're gonna get? This is all the machine,
That's just
or
an
can it be, I'm asking,
illustration.
huh?
That's just an illustration because the actual, we could, if we do get to the point where we're selected, because there's a lot of factors that go into this, gives you an idea of the throw. Of, you know, it's gonna be the, you know, the, how open the system runs. I mean, there are manifolds, there's the size of the pump, there's, how the apertures, how wide they're open, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things to factor in how you, the final adjustment on the equipment.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, the 2,000 square feet splash pad is a big as this room. This room probably have 2,200 square feet.
So you saying it'll be about this size?
I would say it's 2,000 square
Yeah,
feet.
it is.
Oh, we doing a little
That's
something.
a huge, that's a huge,
Additional 500 square feet of concrete deck because it has another deck outside. And additional 250 sidewalk to connect to wherever you go. So it's not something small. It's big. It's 2,000 square feet.
Now, this may be a dumb question, but here we go.
If,
And
going
so
back to the
this-
point that the mayor made, sorry to interrupt you, is we downsize a little bit, let's say maybe 1,500 square feet, maybe 1,600 square feet, we can achieve the number. But we working with what we were told, and hey, this is what we want, and we are designing based on that. We can always make it small, we can always, definitely the monkeys bad, they are not gonna be there, but there is a list of features that when we design these, we are the one who's gonna design it. We design it, we show to the city, hey, do you like this? No, take the monkey back, put this in here, put this in there. We go and redraw the whole thing, and until the city and ourselves are happy with the design, then we move forward. It's something that we are going to decide. So we, I won't say we, I say city and ourselves decided what it goes in this project. So that part is important to understand. This is just a concept that we have based on the other path that we have done. But it can always be changed. Like reducing 1,600 square feet, we may be able to achieve the number we want. We may find a way to put some shade. It's a process that we are starting right now.
I have a question for both of you. Do you have any pictures of splash pads that you built already and where they were done at?
yeah. Yeah, we submitted with the big bid packet.
And
We
if,
submitted in the bid that we put.
and if you had to give us an estimate, how many splash pads have you constructed?
Well, let me begin by saying, I personally have done probably over the years, maybe about 4. But let me also add to that, a splash pad is basically a flat pool, and I've done tons of pools. You know, competition pools, you know, all over the place. I mean, working down in South Florida. So, a splash pad is basically a pool, because everything else, it's just that it has no water in it, but all the equipment that you use in a pool, use it in a splash pad.
Okay, my last
We
question.
finished one in Wachula, and we are about to finish another splash pad on the size. That one is 2,000.
That one is 1,000 square feet. We're doing one in Dundee.
It's about to finish.
So
But it's in
said,
the package,
you
though.
said you finished the one in Wachula?
Yeah, one in
Where's that at? Where?
It's a fountain.
It's a fountain,
It's
not a splash pad.
It's a fountain, but it is built so that if kids choose to play in the water, they won't get sick. So it has all the you know, it has a UV system. It has acid and chlorine treatment. You know, so all that stuff, but it's just not was not permitted as a splash pad, I guess. For liability reasons, it was not permitted that way.
So my last question is, when you build splash pads, are they all concrete, or can the surface be like a rubber surface? I'm just asking.
Okay,
I'm asking.
it can be a rubberized surface. DOH does not like the rubberized surface.
Who don't?
Department of Health.
Okay.
They don't tend to like the rubberized surface. So they tend to steer us away from that because it's soft and on the feet, but it's also slippery when it gets wet.
Oh, so it's
Tracks-
slippery.
tracks algae.
So
Slippery.
they steer us away from those. But it can be built, I mean, if you can get it through DOH.
It's more slippery than the
Yeah.
concrete.
Yeah, definitely.
When will the one in Dundee be done?
We're wrapping, the splash pad itself is complete, and we're pouring up in, we're pre-pouring, we should have pour next week, and we'll be able to pour that out. The park itself is scheduled to be handed over on December 8th.
Okay. So the basically $800,000 that you guys were awarded there, that was for the entire park. In your award projects for 2025, it says Town of Dundee splash pad 795,0and, and it says in progress. So I'm assuming that was the cost of the
Yes.
entire project, not
Yeah, the
just
entire
the splash
project,
pad.
yeah. There was a restroom, seating area building, there was parking lot.
Is that in downtown Dundee, or where is that?
Yeah, that's, yeah, downtown.
Downtown.
No, it's
It's off
in
to the side.
Fifth Street, used to be a baseball field. We
Okay.
are converting the baseball field into a splash pad.
It's in the general downtown area, but yeah,
Well,
not.
we're
in
gonna
the,
go look at it now. We want to see it.
So in your proposal, did you include the price of a fence?
That was never-
Are we gonna put a fence
That
around
was
this?
never included in the,
Oh, it was not an
in
RFP?
the
Okay, okay.
Was the lighting included?
not in this go-around. The initial go-around, they had lighting, but not this go-around.
Okay, and this is a question to the council. Would we want lighting, like if we have something going on in the park at night, like Christmas in the park or whatever? Would we want lighting? If there's any type of activity going on in the park that we want to also use the splash pad as well?
Well, I mean, my personal feeling
I'm
is
just asking.
I don't think you want kids playing at night in the park, but if we're not gonna light the pickleball courts and the beach and everything else, then what's the difference, I guess, that, the park normally closes at sundown, basically.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking, Mayor, is
As-
like,
as a
there are
design feature.
festivals that take place, if we have different festivals that's taking place in the park, what we do, close down the splash pad? I'm asking.
At
us.
night, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
Everything's closed at night.
but not everything, because sometimes the city has different activities going on at Dennison Park. Everything is not closed down at Dennison Park all the time.
Okay, is it okay if I interject?
Sure.
Okay. Essentially, you can add lights if you want, but it's just now when you get DOH is gonna require certain foot candles if it's gonna be used at night. Typical, that's why it's dusk to dawn.
Dusk to dawn.
Yeah. Typically, that's why it's dusk to dawn, because then you're gonna have to provide lighting at a certain foot candle, not just any lighting, but you're gonna have to meet those requirements.
What if we just want to show off how pretty it is?
Yeah, well, you could have some area lighting.
Landscape
as long as it's posted,
Yeah.
not for night use.
Obviously, we could mandate that, the jets are turned off.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to my other thing, a fence. Are we looking to put a fence around this? Like a fence to keep people from not doing very good things on the splash pad that they shouldn't? I mean, because let's be honest. The
It's
homeless
kids.
people,
We're talking
the
about
homeless
kids.
people like to go and use the bathrooms and whatnot. So I'm just wondering if maybe a fence with a locking gate or some kind of locking mechanism might
You're talking
be
about just to
our-
keep them out
Yeah,
at
just to
night?
keep them out at night, yes. Have it locked at night.
I mean, if the jets are off, then
Yes, it's going to be off at night because typically you run it during the day and at night you put it in recirculation mode, which is basically just keeping the water churning. So it'll be off at nights.
Okay.
there's no way to take a shower at night.
No. You would set the time that it actually comes on and goes off, because then you'd have a controller in your equipment room, and that you set it to whatever time you want it to come on and go off at night.
So, and you said that this filtration system is chlorine or salt water?
Okay, it's a combination chlorination system. It's typically, well, you're pretty much mandated now with all these systems to have a UV chlorination as a part of it. But in terms of balancing the chemicals, there's gonna be some acid and some chlorine.
So it's hypochlorite or is it gas chlorine?
It's typical is muriatic acid that is used But it's in small, very tiny amounts. It's not like it's large amounts being injected, and that is balanced with the chlorine, which which kind of alters the
If you're
pH.
using muriatic acid, you must be using a hypochlorite then, because the hypochlorite raises the pH and acid.
Well,
begins to offset
that
it.
would be your chlorine. That would be your chlorine that because that's where you'd get your chloro.
If you add gas chlorine, then it's the opposite. The gas chlorine will drop the pH, and as it forms hydrochloric acid.
Well, the acid lowers your pH, so So in terms of adjusting it and keeping it within range, you'd use a chlorine. Your chlorine.
But you use a hypochlorite because it's safer anyway than gas chlorine.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Whatever we could get with our designer and figure out what precisely works best for you. You can have suggestions. I mean, we've heard suggestions as far as using citric acid. We don't know if that's going to work. I mean, but typically in the industry, it's muriatic acid and chlorine. Those are typically chemicals used.
You treat them like a regular pool. You treat them like regular pool, just regular chlorine and acid, muriatic acid.
Yeah.
That's what balance.
Liquid chlorine or powdered chlorine. Okay.
Yeah, the UV system itself that is also cleanses the water.
Right.
It kills. Yeah. So
Hypochlorite then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how often are these required to be cleaned?
okay.
Every 30 days? Okay. And is that something special that has to be done, or just pressure washed, or what are we talking?
Usually what we do is when we finish everything, the city person who's going to take care of, the city person who's going to take care of the splash pad, we training them in how to, change the filter, clean it, make sure that the chemicals are up to date, make sure that everything is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And should they have questions, you'd still be available to answer questions
Yeah, we
afterwards?
offer 1 year warranty in everything
Okay.
that we do. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry, I have a legal question for you because I'm not super familiar with the purchasing RFP process. So if we specifically say in the RFP that you have to be within this budget amount, can we negotiate the scope and pricing after the fact without opening it back up to everybody that could have or wanted to bid?
Yeah, so if you're going to have a significant change, you really have to go back out again. So if it's not even close, if it's a bid that can be accepted and then expanded on, it can be a little bit. But if it's a lot, then you really need to consider going back out.
If allow me to say something.
Go ahead.
We have a similar situation in Dundee. They got a budget. We came out with a price, and what they did is they say, "Listen, we're gonna approve this, but it has a condition on it. You cannot exceed this amount." In this case, because the project wasn't complete, we were designing at the moment. We thought that it was this number, and they thought it was this number. So they say, "Okay, this is the number you have. We're gonna say that you cannot exceed this number," and that's how we did the contract. But we knew that the budget was down here, so we tried to, in the design process, to fulfill what they wanted. That's how they did it there. I understand the legal question.
So if we lower the square footage to like 1,600 square feet, is that considered a major change?
From 2,000?
Yeah, we didn't set the 2,000. He
Right.
set the 2,000.
Right.
Right.
I had the same question, Brittany. Yeah.
That
So-
was the big
So
requirement.
if we say make it smaller,
No, not really. Oh.
is
Yeah.
that a significant change?
I'd want to check that. I wouldn't want to shoot from the hip on that. But my gut feeling is that, if you're going to make that a big change, if you didn't say how many square feet and you said, well, come up with something that fits our budget, and they're saying do it at 1,600 square feet, now fit your budget, then that does meet the requirements. But if you said 2,000 square feet, and how else you do it, then that's part of our negotiation. Then that would be different.
What if we didn't set the square footage, but we set the price?
Yeah, I think you're okay if you set the price and they're saying, well, we can give you one for 1,600 square feet that looks like this. Because this is a request for proposals as opposed to a bid.
Jessica, can you confirm that we didn't have a square footage in there?
I'll have to look back through the RFP.
Yeah, this one did not. The original one mentioned 3,400 square feet, but the one that was put out a second time did not. But
So
we
the
chose,
original one said what?
the original one had 3,400 square feet of wet area, and then a 5-foot dry deck around it. That was the initial one, and then the new one that came out had nothing in it.
So the point is, that somebody that might have bid if it had been clear as to what was supposed to be done, but now we're changing the framework, that would not be fair to the people that would have bid otherwise. But if he just simply said, come up with something that's going to meet the requirements of our budget, which is X, and then they say, well, I can build one for this size and do it this way and make it look like this, that's what an RFP is for. Make a proposal. And so people had the opportunity to do the same thing. That'd be it. But if you said 2,000 square feet or 3,400 square feet or whatever it is, and then you went down to 16, then those people might have said, well, if I could have done the 16 for less than that, that would be a problem.
Okay.
I might also add something that, and I brought that up at the very beginning. Had we gotten the clarification on, which we did send it in as a question about the type of features they were looking for, that could have probably changed the dynamic. Because then if they'd said, okay, and we had a clear answer that, okay, these things could be flush mounted, then we would have probably said, okay, not so many things sticking up above the surface versus flush mounted items, which would have brought the price down significantly. So that too kind of threw the whole thing off because we could not get a response.
Yeah, the council always reserves the right to reject all bids and go back out the bid if they want to. But I'm just simply saying what the framework could be if it wasn't stated. You're not making a change in what you stated the bid need to look like.
Yeah.
I have one question for Jessica.
We're going to go ahead and take the comment behind you too after
Okay.
this question. No,
Go
you go
ahead.
ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Jessica, were you considering maybe looking at other cities to see if we could piggyback off of their price range or whatever? Was that something you were looking into also?
Well, this is our second try, so I think what we did, and I thought we were pretty clear in the pre-bid meeting, and I know that Andy had took questions after the fact, and I thought we were pretty clear on what we were looking for. I did post on Facebook and get quite a bit of comments back from the public. I condensed those down to a one-pager, and we did have some ideas that were enlisted in the proposal as well. We had a dream list, and basically what we said is all we have is $250,000. That's it. We can't pull from anything else unless we go back and do some budget adjustments. So what we wanted was someone that was experienced with splash pads to say, this is what we can do for $250,000, knowing that we might have some overages, and then we can figure out the budget at that time. I'm not sure if Andy didn't answer those questions, but I thought we were pretty clear on what we were looking for. But if we're going to use some of the overages from the pickleball to move that over, we might get some better responses as well. So I just wasn't sure on the legality of it all.
Well, I mean, that's what request for proposals is. I mean, propose based, this is our wish list, this we'd like to see, this is our budget, make us a proposal. And so, I mean, at this point, if you feel like you can throw more money in there and you get a lot more options, then that's also a possibility as well.
Okay. Question? Just give your name and organization for the record.
Jane Benham, 605 South Euclid Street, Sebring, Florida. Just coming up here as a mom of 4 little kids, I feel like splash pads are more catered towards younger kids. I mean, it's not common to see teenagers usually running in there. It's really little kids. So I just would ask for you guys to consider putting a fence personally with someone with multiple kids. They just run all over. They could go from the splash pad to the park, into the lake, things like that. And then when you have tournaments going on and other people, I mean, right now there's not that many people in Donaldson Park. However, with these additions of pickleball and a splash pad, you're going to have a lot more foot traffic. Your belongings could be secure while you're in the splash pad with your kids. It's different when they're in the lake and they know how to swim. You can sit on the beach and kind of watch. But when you have a 2-year-old, you're usually in the splash pad themselves. So having your belongings out or having a chance of your kid running off, I feel like parents prefer something more
Yeah.
gated. But that's just my 2 cents.
For security purposes, you want that, I think you would want a fence.
So then maybe we need to put this back out again to add the things in it, the fence.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. In the meantime, we can go look at the project that they're gonna finish up in a couple of months, and then they'll give us a better idea at the same time.
My suggestion would be take 50,000 from the pickleball project. We also want to mandate that we have our shades, we have some type of fence, whether it be a 4-foot or a 6-foot fence around it. Preferably, whatever is going to match the new fence is going around the pickleball courts. And was there any other additions besides no monkey bars?
And I happen to agree with Mayor.
And then let's give it a dollar figure, but don't give it a square footage. That way there might be a design that's 1,650 square feet that fits the budget, but it has way more features than just simply dictating a size, so.
And anything that they can offer us that they can do, give us an additional price of what it would be, but to go out again for what? I think.
Well, it's pretty clear we're gonna have to go out again.
May I know to come in again?
Yes.
Well, in terms of making that, we've offered up some suggestions. We could make that 250. I mean, definitely, reducing the size. Yeah, and that number is just a number we came up with because since the initial figure was 3,400 square feet, we figured, okay, they didn't want to get too small. And so that's definitely something we could work on by reducing the size. And, there's, the type of features also, that could be clarified some more. Because, just as I said, the mention of using it at times for, when it's not running, of course, for civic events. I mean, that could, if that was answered a little more clearly, then we could probably have said, okay, let's, but then it was never answered, so we said, okay.
Well, I think we can clarify that pretty quick. Are we gonna use this for any other purpose other than a splash pad? I don't think we're gonna be holding meetings on this splash pad when it's not in use, right?
I would say no. If we're gonna put a fence around it, then it just needs to be designated as that.
It's a purpose-built designated splash pad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure well, if we're allowed, we can, we would be able to come up with something in that range.
I have a question about the fence. I agree that it should have a fence. Could be a 4-foot fence should be enough, or it has to be a 6 feet?
Oh, I personally, I don't speak on behalf of all the council,
No,
but
I
I would think a
understand.
4 foot, maybe
Yeah.
4.5, 5-foot fence would be.
Yeah, 4 feet. That's
good.
what I think.
I mean, it just has to be a deterrent for the
Yeah.
small kids.
Yeah, I
Right.
understand.
Is anyone opposed to going with a 4-foot fence? Nobody's opposed. 4-foot fence.
So are you gonna vote to, go back out?
Well, do you think that would be the prudent thing, correct?
Well, if that's what you're gonna choose to do, with additional money, that would be an option. And certainly you have heard from them, so they have a favored situation as far as we've heard what you guys do. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're gonna do it, you need to vote to do it now so they have the direction to do it.
Sure. Is anyone opposed to using 50,000 from the pickleball project to go towards the splash pad?
I don't know. We talked about maybe using some of that residual, 108,
108.
Right.
I don't know. If you're looking at, guys, figure I'm looking at, 1,600 square feet is going to be around 225, based on your figure. Do you guys have an estimate on what a 1,600 foot would be?
Well, if we get down to we know we'd be pretty close to that.
Because you're 138 per square foot, right? That's what your average is, 138 per square foot,
Well,
roughly?
yeah. I don't want to dig into unit costs there too much. There's a lot of things that go in there, but concrete and equipment would be your two costliest items. So if we reduce the amount of concrete, that would definitely take the price down.
And we're also adding
Then-
the fence and the shade.
Right.
That might also impact the size of the collector tank we decide to go with, which could also reduce the price. And then the size of the circulation and other pumps. So there are other pieces in there. It's not like linear.
Right, but the biggest cost is your guys' 56% is, the biggest cost is the features. So with less space, there'd be less features, so logically you think it would be, right? So then maybe you have the money for the fence, you have the money for the shade.
No, not the, I do not think if we went down 400 square feet, we probably get to the 250 figure for the school as is. Adding a fence, adding shades, that would definitely bring you back.
So then we need to talk about what kind of fence. So are we gonna do a vinyl, one of those little square fences like you have in your proposal there? Or are we gonna do a small 4-foot chain link fence?
Whichever one matches the pickleball. We don't want them to be different.
Typically, you don't want to go with a vinyl coated chain link.
Okay, I don't wanna take that extra 50,000 out, cause we still have to do shades, lighting, water fountain, shrubs and fans around the pickleball court. So I feel like we're gonna use that money for the pickleball. And that's what we've originally started with, was the pickleball, and to get it going. I mean, that's just 1 of 5, that's all.
I did find the scope in the original RFP. It's page 561 if you'd like to review it. And then the evaluation criteria was 565. There is no sizing requirements. We really focused on pricing. We wanted to see what we could get for the $250,000. That's why it says you were considered non-responsive.
So that means that if we're still going to stay at the same price, then we may still have the lack of response because we didn't have 2,000 specified.
No, we didn't, but
originally.
we also didn't have all the other things in there. I mean, we've seen, now we don't, we know we don't want monkey bars, and we now know that we want a fence. So, I mean, we've added all this extra stuff in, and now he's trying to take money out of the, not trying to, but suggesting that we take money out of the pickleball. So, I don't know, I just.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the additions to the pickleball and the additions to the splash pad, they're roughly the same. So if 50,000 would cover the splash pad, likely 50,000 would cover the additional shades at the pickleball as well. So that was kind of the point of that number. It wasn't just simply saying take all the excess. I believe there was roughly 120,000? Or no, 108,000.
Yeah.
So that's why 50,000 was the number I chose.
Oh, I gotcha.
Well, we don't need, we really don't need 50,000.
All right, so going once, going twice. Is anyone opposed to taking 50,000 from the pickleball project, adding to the splash pad project, and putting it back out for bid with the talked about changes?
I'm not opposed to advertising it because that doesn't mean we have to go with
Correct.
it. We can see what we get back.
Correct.
But if we bump it a bit to at least see what kind of response we get.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sound good?
Whatever you guys decide.
Okay. All right, well, I'll make a motion that we take $50,000 from the pickleball project, add to the splash pad project to make it $300,000 in total, not to exceed. There will not be a designated size requirement, but it will be required to have a 4-foot black vinyl fence around the splash pad, as well as benches and shaded seating.
Second.
Uh,
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions?
So if we should exceed the 108, just say we took 50 from the 108 and all this came up to 70, and now we're short and we can't finish up the pickleball, where are we gonna pull those funds from? Where are
We
those
don't
gonna-
know that.
Well,
this
we
is gonna come
already
back.
know what we can get for the pickleball for the 392.
Right.
So like you said, like adding shade structures later. So if all we
Right.
can get is the one shade structure and then run the electric, like Jerry said, and get the drinking fountains, then we may have to add an additional, 2 or 3 shade structures later.
Yep.
Right, okay.
We know for a fact we gotta run the water and the power.
Right,
That's the only thing we
which the
have to do.
pickleball company is gonna give us kind of like an à la carte menu. With your additional money, you can get this, and we can kind of pick and choose what additional pieces we want. What we feel is most important.
Wiring and conduit's gonna be at, $50,000 even with the, running a little bit of water line and having somebody said a $1,200,
I think Shelley
fountain.
said that.
Or even if you get a nicer one.
Mr. Anderson,
So
can I say something?
Yes, sir.
You don't need $50,000 to take it away from the pickleball court. I mean, to put a fence and to put some shades, I don't know. We made the numbers. It won't cost $50,000. I'll tell you that.
Okay, how much?
If we reduce the splash pad to 1,400 square feet, okay, and we put a fence.
1,400? You said 14 or
Yeah,
16?
1,600. I'm sorry, 1,600, and we put a fence, and we put some shades. We probably kicking back to the same number we have, maybe 276, 280, no more than that. You really don't need $50,000 away from the pickleball. Maybe 292. It's hard to say, but I guarantee you, putting a fence, a shade, you don't need $50,000.
So if we advertise at 3 and then you come back with your best price,
would
we
do
try
it.
to win
The
us over.
target is still the same,
I
250.
was the only company who beat it. The last time did the same thing, and I will beat it again. I promise you.
Are we after a single shade or multiple shades? Shade shelters. Because that's a question that needs to be stated.
I mean,
A what?
probably at least
that's
two.
not-
I would
There's
say
actually-
one on each end, preferably, just as a mom.
That's not important. That's
What did you ask? A what?
many
One
shades
shade or
Are you
multiple.
after a single, because, that could vary, change the cost. Are you after a single shade shelter or multiple?
Oh, I see.
Yep.
I don't think that would be a problem because
I think
I
two-
assuming that the shade
Yeah.
won't be where the splash pad is. It will be in the sitting area or something, probably in the perimeter outside.
Yeah.
It won't be where the splash pad is.
Well, it needs to be close to the splash pad, right?
Well,
Yeah,
in-
it will be
Inside.
In the
in the
fence,
perimeter,
yeah.
probably.
Okay.
Probably outside where the
Okay.
water is going to be. And
Okay.
probably it's going to be big enough for maybe a bench, maybe 2 benches. I understand. I understand now. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
I have one last question. If you are chosen for this bid, from start to finish, how long was the completion last?
It's a design build project, so for the design aspect, you're probably looking at about, I would say, 2 to 2.5 months for the design aspect for a splash pad. Then you'd have to go in for permitting. We typically
30
work
days.
30 to 45 days for that. And then the actual construction, you're probably looking at about 3.5, max 4 months.
Max?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're looking at like May-ish, based on that.
Okay. Very good. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Last call for questions.
Please remind me again what that motion was. I apologize.
Motion is to put this back out for bid at $300,000 with a target of $250,000 with the fence, the shades, and that was it.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Please call the roll. Jim.
Yes.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
How long does the RFP have to stay out? Is there a set time limit?
We
or-
didn't set the time, but how long did it go out last time?
I think it was only 30 days. It was pretty quick.
Sounds like 30 days
Okay.
to me. All right, item number 4, this will be the CRA Master Plan Extension and Service Contract.
This would be on page 778. So last week, I attended the CRA or FRA conference down in West Palm. Met a lot of really smart people that are doing great things in their own cities through that conference. I had met several consultants. And with that, we started talking about dates of our master plans within the CRA, the South Side, and Airport. And currently, we're set to sunset at 2038. So we have some time, about 12, 13 years. Not that that's a big deal, but they are starting session early this year. We all saw what happened last year. So it's to be determined what they'll continue. They do feel like there will be movement because it got tabled last year. So their recommendation was we have about 10 more years left on our extension that we could update our master plan. The last time it was updated was 2016, so it is about a decade old now. So they recommended that we go ahead and set that plan in motion to update that master plan to get that 10-year extension, which would put us at our absolute max of 60 years. If we don't do that and it sunsets, they are trying to put restrictions on extensions and certain extensions of time and boundaries. So I did reach out to two of the consultants I spoke with at the conference. One was GIA Consultants. She was actually, I'm going through an FRA designation right now, and she was one of the professors. She's very knowledgeable. She knows a lot about CRAs, and she obviously works with different cities that are doing different things. So her estimate to update our master plans was around 40 to 60,000. She doesn't know until she gets into the process with us. These are both based on piggyback contracts with other cities, so we wouldn't have to go out to RFP. The second one was also a piggyback with Inspire Placemaking Collective. It was estimated at 100 to 150 to do that same process. That piggyback was through Tarpon. The prior one was through Palm Bay. And so my question to council board and advisory is, we didn't budget for this. This obviously wasn't on our plan for this year. But knowing what they're trying to do with CRAs, would it be beneficial to go ahead and move those monies around a little bit, start the plan update and get those 10 extra years, or try to figure this out next year?
Jerry, any thoughts?
No, I think it'd be a good idea to try and get an extension now. I think that you're going to have guns fired at you again this year. I don't know if it'll succeed as far as the bills, but it was pretty ugly last year. So I expect it to be pretty ugly this year, and the people I've talked to that know some legislators say that it's going to be pretty ugly again this year.
Okay. Does that seem like a fairly acceptable price? 40 to 60,000.
Yeah, I don't know how to I don't know how to compare it, but what did it cost last time we got it done? It was just about 8 years ago, wasn't it?
I couldn't tell you. And do we have any of that data? What it cost last time we updated it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, we just expanded it and updated it about 8 years ago. And
yeah, the book says 2016, so it takes about a year to get through the process. 6 to 9 months, but a year to be final.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions?
My question with that is if you do want to move forward, where you would want to pull those funds from.
Do you have any suggested places? Don't say pickleball or splash pad.
In Main Street, we did have 50,000 allocated to Central Park Avenue, or Central Park on Main Street. We don't have any specific plans for that, so a portion, let's say it's at 50,000, we could pull half or whatever the CRA allocations are. I think it's like 1/3 and 2/3 from Main Street CRA. From the Central Park, and then the other one, I haven't, Bernice, maybe you can answer to this. The community garden in Southside, I haven't gotten any movement. I did talk to Gerald Snell about that a little bit, but for that community garden to really take place, there needs to be a nonprofit that comes in and it's really gonna take that on, and we'd really just be the funding mechanism behind that. So I'm not sure that would be done or even started in this next budget year. So maybe we could take a portion from that and start the garden, but maybe not finish it. But
So this kind of thing will affect all three of the districts, the CRA, Main Street, and the airport, right?
Correct.
So it wouldn't just be Main Street CRA that you're pulling from. You'd pull maybe a portion from each of them, right?
we don't, airport, there's really nothing out there to pull from. So it would be a very small portion, 5% maybe. That's about our allocations over there.
Okay, I'm a little confused, and this is for Jessica and Mr. Burke. I wasn't aware that we can pull from different districts. Help me out here. I thought if that money belongs to that district and that money belongs to that district, and so on and so on. So help me out. I'm confused.
But I understood it was all one. We used to have 3 districts. We have 1 CRA now. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know if we still do
have 3 districts.
No, that's not. It's prohibited by law. When I first came here, I said you can't have. You had 3 CRAs. You can't have but 1 CRA. And so we had to combine them all. We said the way we're going to handle that is we're going to combine them all into 1 CRA, and then we're going to have 3 advisory board originally, 3 advisory boards that will advise us, so it'll have the same effect, but when, do you have separate bank accounts for the 3 districts? I wouldn't think so.
There's 3 different funds under the CRA.
Okay, so that perpetuated.
I guess so.
But they just run through one count.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's a pleasure of the board.
It's just a bookkeeping thing. You're trying to, okay.
I think it's a pleasure of the board to take funds that have been idle
We've done it
for
before.
3 years and put them to use.
Right.
I.e. the airport.
Agreed.
Just take all the funds from the airport, put it to use.
Mr. Burke, no disrespect. I would truly love for you to look into that. I mean, I've been sitting right here for 3.5 years, and I know you've been here longer. I've never seen us take money from the airport and put it on the south side and put it on the main. I never seen, not that we couldn't do it. I never saw us do it, and I thought it was.
So I
It
think
was
what
not authorized.
I think what Jessica is saying by taking a portion from each, because this actual project is for the entire CRA. So that's why she was saying take, I think she said 2/3 and a third.
What actual project?
The CRA master plan extension that she's talking about for the 40 to 60,000 benefits the entire CRA. It gets the
Right.
entire CRA an additional 10
So
years.
I see what
all
you're
all of them get extended, so.
I see what you're saying. And what is the total cost, Miss Jessica?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What is the total cost?
40 to 60,000.
It's 40 to 60, just depending on how much work they ultimately they can either go out and do all the community workshops and things that we've already done. We already have the information we need to put in these plans just based on the workshops we've already done, so they don't need to go out and do that. So once we get a full scope of what the services that will be provided, they will provide the final cost at that time. So it will be presented back to you again for approval. I just need to know if you want to move forward.
So is this a one particular group? We hadn't gone out to RFP for this?
So they're the two biggie. They both have piggyback contracts with the other cities. One was Tarpon Springs and one was Palm Bay. So if we wanted to use those piggybacks that we do a lot with Public Works, that would just save us the RFP process with somebody that's already done all of that.
Okay.
And so
'Cause-
if, go ahead, Mr. Burke.
Well, I just know that we used that other group before because they were the least expensive, but I don't know if you all had an issue with that or not.
No, they handled it just fine.
I am fully confident in both of them. One's just half the price. So
What he's suggesting is the one that we used last time back in 2016, if you could look them up and see if they're still in that business and if they're willing to
I
do
could
it.
get a price from them, sure.
Yeah, just to find out anyway, because like I said, they were low cost last time. And if everybody was satisfied with the results, then why not include them?
Well, as Ms. Carlson said, we have all the information. We're not necessarily looking to reinvent the wheel here. We just need to re-up our paperwork so that we can get our 10-year extensions.
And so, Miss Jessica, my question is, if we do approve it, are you expecting all the different district to commit to the same amount?
Currently, my budget allocation is when I have any expenditures, it's 66% to Main Street and 34% to South Side. That's our allocations because that's the budget, the funding mechanism for splitting expenses.
Okay.
We don't take anything out of airport because
You don't have anything.
there's nothing out there.
Okay. So clearly we want to go down this path, but we definitely need to figure out what the cheapest option is going to be. So do we want to wait until Jessica has found that pricing information and reconvene at our next meeting, or what?
What's the deadline for this? If there is one? Is there one?
Session starts early. They'll start in January. As of now, we're not slotted to have a meeting for November or December unless you want to call a special meeting to do this again.
Yeah, we can have a special meeting if you can get that information to us.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a joint meeting again, or is it just for us?
It's just for
or-
this one item, so we could just add it to the front of one of our council meetings.
Is it just gonna be the one item? Getting just about tired of me.
I'm
Is
sorry.
it-
I
is
don't
it
hear very
Jessica?
well.
You're not gonna add nothing else to it, right?
Just the one. Just the one.
Just the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she said
Yeah, I have their information if you want it.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
And Jessica, there's nothing in the airport?
Well, we don't receive any funding. I think our total funding out there that we receive is like 25,000. We have some in reserves, but we don't charge any expenses out there.
Okay.
And that's the direction I was given when I came
Okay.
on board, so.
You've been given direction.
Do you have a different direction? Are you suggesting that we should use the reserve funds out there?
Every dime.
Okay.
I think the airport ought to go ahead and pay for the recertification.
Okay.
On a personal note, I think the funds have been sitting out there for 36 months, waiting on the next step, and I think it'd be well served to recertify this using those funds.
Okay.
I know, Jessica, you have some stuff itemized, like as part of that wish list, with like the ball fields out there and things like that. So how would that impact if we take that money and pay for this versus leaving it in the reserves?
I'll have to pull up. I think it was very, like 250,000. Does that ring a bell? I'll have to pull up that.
Well, we can
just have to
certainly
figure
make
out.
it part of the discussion at our special meeting, where we're going to fund it from
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
We can pull all those unused funds out there, see what they were marked for, if anything. All right. Anything else on the CRA master plan?
So where are we gonna motion to table it then? Is that what's about to happen?
Well, so we've requested more information. Jerry, do we need to table it, or are we just going to wait for the information?
You can table it till next meeting, or
Do we need to motion to table it, or can we just?
you can just go ahead. There was no motion or anything going.
Right. Yeah. No action needed. All right, other business. Do we have any staff updates?
Well, I was going to show some potential city logos, but I guess we don't need to do that now. I just need to know we're going to invest quite heavily into signage this year. We have banners on there as well. So between the two, CRA Main Street and Southside Main Street, in terms of banners for each location and the wayfinding, I think we're at 300-ish thousand, maybe 350. I'm not looking that directly. This is CRA board and advisory. The logo you have that's on your paper today, the one that's up here behind everybody's heads, is that the logo that you want on signage for the next 30 years? Because I don't see us redoing the signage anytime soon. So I guess if we are in a refresh and a rebrand and a new vibrant Avon Park, do we want to stick with the existing logo and that's it for the next 30 years, or do we want something a little more new and fresh?
Personally, I'd like to see something new and fresh.
I would also like for maybe you to put it out there on Facebook again and let us, I love that. I love all the comments,
Yeah.
all the people that some left Avon Park and moved on, but they still Avonians. I love to hear all their comment. Why not? I'm with Shelley. It's a whole new generation. Let's put something fresh out there.
Is there anything coming up to where you need to purchase new signage? What
What's that?
What is the next thing where you need to purchase new signage? In other words, how much time do we have to do all this? Is there anything pressing?
It's in the budget this year. So like the gateway signage right now is underway. So that's the last thing they need to start, the block mason needs to start on getting those signs ready. But for us to send it over to signage, we need finalized. Is that going to be just a single bandstand? Because the one we had on there.
And so we have how much time to get that information to them? Do we have
next,
a week? Do we have
next few months, yeah.
2 months?
Sure.
Okay. So we can't.
I mean, we don't have to decide on a logo. Just do you want to see ideas? I don't want to waste my time coming up with new logos if everybody likes what we have now.
Who's in favor of new logos and who wants to keep it as is?
New logos.
New logos.
We've heard from 2. Anyone else?
New logos.
We got 3.
4.
New logos. You 2.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go with it. We're just asking who would be interested in looking at new ones.
Sure. Okay. We're going to look at some new logos.
You got it. That's all I have.
All right. Anything else for the good of the CRA? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, please.
Seeing no opposition, we are adjourned.
Thank you.